Hello, I'm Gary Nuttall. I'm an emerging technology consultant. I provide education, consulting and advisory services to firms and people who need to understand what technologies such as blockchain and cryptocurrency and artificial intelligence and data analytics are. There's a lot of jargon in this space, and I'm going to go through a series of sessions to explain what some of these terms actually mean. Bitcoin is a 21st century form of digital money or electronic cash. It's what's known as a cryptocurrency, and so rather than being backed by government, it's governed by a widely distributed network of computers that use complex mathematics to secure everything through what's known as a blockchain. Now, if we take a look at, first of all, money, what is money? Because this is something that we often don't really think about. So money provides us with four things. It acts as a store of value, a way of exchanging value, a unit of accounting, and a means of taxation. And money is usually fiat, which is Latin for let it be. What that means is it's backed by government, it's centrally controlled, and therefore it's perceived as reliable. But as we see with some governments, that may not always be the case. So let's take a look now a little bit more about what cryptocurrency is. And it's not considered by the UK regulator as money, though that does mean that it doesn't benefit from some of the protections of traditional financial instruments. And it's also underpinned by a thing called a blockchain, and we'll take a look at blockchains later. But that's the boring techie foundation, which it's a bit like banking systems. You don't really need to know about it. It just works and you accept it from there. So what cryptocurrency allows you to do, it allows you to transfer amounts directly, either over the internet or face-to-face, without needing a bank or payment service provider. And over time, its value has risen, so people now use it as a form of investment too. It isn't regulated though, and with it being decentralized, it means there's nobody to go to if anything goes wrong. So Bitcoin came about at the end of 2008 with the publication of a paper by somebody with the pseudonym of Satoshi Nakamoto, and we don't know who she is or who he is or who they are to this day. And what the paper basically explained was a way of cryptographically providing an environment that allowed us to exchange the equivalent of electronic cash peer-to-peer without a trusted third party. And that was really exciting. And from that, we've developed into Bitcoin. So since 2010, Bitcoin's really grown in popularity. It's created through a process called crypto mining, which limits the amount that is produced each day. And it's basically a big competition for lots of computers to work out the answer to a particular complex puzzle. The rules, such as how much of it can be produced each day, are embedded in a blockchain, which is the foundational technology that Bitcoin sits on. And demand tends to outpace the supply, and so the price of Bitcoin tends to rise. Since its launch, it's increased by several thousand%, so people use it as a form of investment, but do remember it can go down too. Bitcoin gets its value in the same way that fiat currencies get their value. There's enough people who believe and trust in them. And it's amazing how many people don't realise that the pound is backed up by nothing more than enough of us believing that a pound is worth a pound. The connection with an underlying asset, such as gold, stopped around 1971. And the promise to pay the bearer, which you'll see on a banknote, is a promise by the Bank of England to pay whoever takes a note to the Bank of England on Threadneedle Street. They will pay them the equivalent amount in the same currency. So if you take a £5 note to the bank, they promise to replace it with £5. Bitcoin is just one of many cryptocurrencies. It originally gained a bit of a bad reputation when it was used on Silk Road website for buying illegal goods, but since then has become an increasingly popular crypto asset, which is now being adopted by more and more people. It's also gradually gaining corporate acceptance too, with some companies having Bitcoin holdings as part of their hedging strategies. Some people use cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin as a way of paying for goods and services. Some use it as a lower cost way of doing money transfers around the world, and others use it as an investment in the hope that it will go up in price. And then finally, others trade in it, either by day trading or by setting up software to automatically trade it for them. And it's estimated that around 11% of Americans already hold Bitcoin or some form of cryptocurrency, and just over 5% of people in the UK do too. So I hope that you found that an interesting, quick whirlwind overview of Bitcoin, and we'll cover some topics soon.